What's up, risers? The time has finally come. Do you like ripping packs? Do you like drafting? Oh yeah, let's do this. So there it is, the new drafting area, the drafting play space. So you can come in here, you can crack some packs and see what you get, build out a deck with someone. You can save that deck and then go to play in the other space, or you can play right here. If you wanted to play a drafting 4-player game, you could do that in 2 different areas and then combine them up over in the main Rise playing area. So what I want to do today is show you a way that you can draft, show you how to draft with this particular modification, and then just talk a little bit at the end about why I think this is the best game to draft with. And I'm going to give 3 reasons why I think this is the best game to draft with. Okay, so let's get right into it. So the first thing we're going to want to do is load up our box with, or our packs with cards. And the way that we do that is we do that by creating boosters. Okay, so let's say in this case I'm going to create 9 boosters. Then I'm going to load it up by clicking on Create Booster. Now that it's loaded, then I'll come over here and I'll say I want 9 booster packs in my hand. So now it's put 9 booster packs in my hand, and so now all I have to do is grab quickly from the packs, and it's like it's ripping the pack, and then it'll put it on the board. So if I swipe quickly with my left click and move quickly, it's going to pull the cards out, place them on the table, grab the next one, pull the cards out, place them on the table, grab the next one, and so on. So I'm going to keep doing that until I have all of them out here. So that's good if you can start to see like what it might be like to open packs, and we expect that in the future you're going to actually be able to see the hollows for the packs, and the standard booster boxes come with 3 hollows in it, so you can expect as you start to open this in future mods that you'll see 3 hollows in each of these packs. So the next thing I'm going to do is, now that I've got all the cards out on the table, is I'm going to select them all. Okay, so I've got them all selected. Get this centered up. I'm going to right click on all the cards after I got them selected. I'm going to click spread. And so I've got it set up in such a way that it'll spread them all out to where I can see them. And so this is a way to take a look, kind of a quick look at all the cards that you have. But if you didn't want to do it this way, another way you could do it is to open one pack at a time and then start to separate them out based on creatures, doors, incantations, eminence, level ups, and things like that. So the idea here is that you're going to open 9 packs, and so you can effectively split a box with 3 other people or another person, and you can do this 2 times, 4 times, depending on how you want to break that up. And so you're going to look through your cards, and based on the cards that you have, you're going to try to pull out 2 summoners. So another technique that I like to do is basically grab all the cards up and select them all, press G, that groups them together. Select all the cards, select the cards, make a big pile like that. Okay, so I've got the 2 summoners that I already found. I may find another summoner when I go through this more detailed process here. Actually, and I forgot 1 card over here. So I'll zoom in here, and what I like to do is just the technique only is to start putting these cards together based on their types. So I'll go ahead and grab my creatures, place them here, grab my eminence, place them here, my doors, place them here. There's a summoner, so I missed that one. Okay, so I've got all of my cards situated out from what we drafted, and as I went through with a more fine-tooth comb here, I recognize that I've got 4 summoners. So I've got Izzet, King the Great, Azel, and the Unslain. So at this point, I'm going to pick 2 summoners that I want to use. So in this case, let's just say I use the Unslain and Azel. And then I go back and I can see I've got 37 incantations, 27 creatures, 24 eminence, and 7 doors that I can make my deck out of. Now what I can do here is if I'm playing with an opponent and they're also drafting here at the table the same as me, and let's say we want to be able to take, say, 30 minutes or an hour and just process through our, just depends on how you like to draft, right? But let's say you want to give yourself some time. All you'd have to do here is your opponent, this would be your deck, opponent could have all the cards that they drafted out in a pile, right click on it, and then you can save object, save that object as your deck, save that object, save theirs as the opponent's deck, and so now you know which all cards you have, and then you can jump out of the room if you want and kind of process through building your deck. And then come back and play. If you want to set a time limit, obviously you could do that. You could build it right here at the table if you wanted to, but that's just an option where you have all the cards there together, and then you can build your deck out. All right, now I'm going to go into what I like about the 3 things that I think make this game really good for drafting. So reason number 1 I like drafting with Rise over other games that I played for a long time is that Rise has no mana walls or land walls. And so with that, if you, as you're drafting here, all of these cards can play with each other. Every single card in here can interact with the other cards. And so that makes it for variable play. And so I could literally open 4 packs, just make sure that I don't have any issues as far as like rank restrictions, like this card is a rank 2, so I can only have 2 of them in my deck. But once I meet those rank restrictions, as long as I can do that, then I can literally play all of these cards together in a deck by itself. And so that ability for all the cards to interact with each other makes for interesting replay games as far as drafting is concerned. And so I really look forward to that. So I mean, I could easily open up 4 packs, throw it all together, just make sure I'm legal. I can supplement with any of these rank infinite level ups I need just to make sure that I have level ups. But right out the gate, I'll have the ability to play because all cards in Rise can be used in any deck. Number 2, I like drafting with Rise especially, is the summoner concept. So the summoners themselves they start out as a level 1, and the summoners act as the equivalent of your mana producers, your spellcasters. They are a representation of you. But in this case, right out the gate, I can be using summoners to cast abilities, or I can level up summoners to be able to, in Harnia's case here, if I get a level 3 Harnia, then I can be summoning infinite monster creatures. With Lalvia here, I can be adding health points to my other summoners, I can be buffing angels, I can be making it hard for my creatures to be blocked, etc. So even if it's not optimized, it's still able to play together, even with the amount of randomization. And so and the summoners allow for you to get right into the gameplay. You're not sitting there watching your opponent play after play while you're sitting, because you can't do anything because you haven't drawn any aura or you haven't drawn any land or things like that. So it speeds up the entry into the gameplay. And the last thing I like about drafting with Rise is that you've got many levers to pull to be able to optimize your turn. And so for some brand new players to TCGs, this might be intimidating at first, but once you get a few games, a few rounds in, you start to pick up the flow, you recognize that you have lots of options. So for example, because of the ether ability, as I'm gaining ether, then I can either use that ether to draw a card, or I can use that ether to put 1 coin in my stock. When I'm going to draw my cards, I can either draw 2 cards and gain 1 stock, or draw 1 card and gain 2 stock. And so there's lots of utility and variability there, and those interact with the doors, creatures, incantations, imminents that I have on the board, and so each turn I have the ability to optimize my turn, and so it makes it where there are less completely dead hands, and it allows so you're not constantly concerned about getting lucky on the top deck. You can use your skill. It rewards skillful play to be able to get the most that you can by pulling these different levers, the interactions, whether I'm going to do an invocation or use a skill, whether I'm going to spend ether on drawing cards or getting more coins, and whether I'm going to draw more cards or get more coins at the beginning of my turn. All of this are different levers that rewards more skillful play. So in the game of Rise, you only need your decks are always 50 cards. At least that's in the current standard format. And so all I really need to build a Rise deck is 40 cards and 10 level up cards. And so in theory, I could actually, if I wanted to, play a couple different formats of drafting with Rise TCG, which is great. So for example, I could create 4 booster packs here. And then I could put those 4 in my hand, and then I could draft all 4 of those. So bring them out here on the table, open these packs. Okay, so now all my packs are open. Grab them, press G to gather them together, flip them over and go through them. And I would have, in this case, I've got 44 cards, right, just out the gate. Now the nice thing about Rise is that there are no aura walls or mana walls or things like that that you might see in other games. And so literally every single one of these cards can interact and play with any other card. You're not going to get run into mana problems or land problems or things like that. So what you can do is take whatever you got in here and then add to it. You could randomize. So what I've done is I've gone into the builder and I've put all of the summoners together and created a pile over here. And so me and my opponent could shuffle this up, this summoner pile over here, and then we could draw 3 each if we wanted to. So just pull 3 out here, grab them all, flip them over, and then I could say I want this one, and then he or she picks theirs, and then they pass me the 2 that they got left, and then I pass them the 2 that I got left, and then I could pick one. And by doing that, I could effectively play 9 games of randomized drafting with whatever I got here. So that's one format. The other format is you draw the standard 9 packs, and then you have your summoner stack over here, and then you have maybe some insurance cards like these summoners here that you randomly draw from this to say, okay, if you don't get any summoners, then you can pick from one of these 2, and then your opponent gets to choose 1 card out of your deck that you don't get to play with, or something like that. You can come up with all kinds of different formats. So you can play speed drafting with 4 packs, and you could do that, up to 9 times per box. You could play a more in-depth drafting if you were trying to build a deck for all-day competitive gameplay. And time out how long you have to build out a draft deck. Lots of different ways that you can do this, or you can have an insurance kind of summoner that you put out 1, 2, 3, whatever, or you could actually draft summoners first and then build your deck from there. So lots of ways you can play this, but it's just going to be fun to get in here, grab a pack, open it up, see what you get, grab another pack, and just kind of get into the flow of seeing kind of what some of the cards that you're going to start seeing in the standard booster box. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do some draft leagues here in the future in the next couple of months over in the Rise TCG Discord, and I'll leave the link to that down in the description. And thanks for your attention. Get out there and build the guild. Have a great day, y'all.